on the Titans. They've been here for an eternity now. There's your answer. Carrigan to Flegler.
You mentioned how long it's been. How much do you miss in that physicality and that battle at the moment? You know, there's only so much training you can do and non-contact stuff.
It's hard going to training knowing that you're not going to play at the end of a week. You know, you do a whole pre-season getting ready to play the season. And then during the season, you know, you spend the whole week recovering, getting ready to play. And then when you're not playing for so long, it kind of changes a bit. But I guess you just got to stay focused and try to see the light at the end of the tunnel and know that you will play footy again soon. It's just going to take a bit longer than, you know, some expected or than the usual injury.
Let's talk about the injury. Before we get into the rehab where you're at, first of all, for people that don't know, explain the injury that you had to your shoulder.
I made a tackle in round 5 last year. I had a sublux on my shoulder, which is where your shoulder pops in and pops out, and there's a nerve that sits around the back of it, and I stretched the nerve, and unfortunately it never came back to, is what some people would say. It's either you recover really quickly within, you know, 6 to 8 weeks or up to 3 months, or you go the opposite way and it takes a little bit longer and you have to take, you know, different steps for it to come back.
Bit of trouble here for Tom Flegler, just clutching at what looks to be a shoulder injury.
Ooh, yeah, not so sure about that.
I waited 6 months, you know, hoping that it would get better naturally without having to do any surgery. Unfortunately, that didn't happen, so I went in and I got a nerve transplant done. So they went down to my rear tricep and they pulled up a nerve and they sewed a nerve to my axillary nerve. Surgery has worked. It is starting to heal. But there's still a few more hurdles we need to overcome before we can sort of put a time frame on when I'm going to play again.
Because you've got full range of motion, you fully train. What holds you back?
When your muscle doesn't work, you can't build any muscle there. So my muscle in my shoulder has deteriorated away. Yeah. So it's a lot of skin and bone. So what we're trying to do is get the contraction back in the muscle, and then from there I can sort of build it back up and build some more muscle mass to my shoulder, which will protect my shoulder, you know, obviously when I'm making tackles and things like that.
Marshall King to Katoa. Now comes to Flegler. Oh, there's the pass to the hammer.
Yeah, this is really nice from the Dolphins.
At the moment, I'm, you know, fairly prone to another injury. So, you know, providing it gets better, which, you know, everything's going in the right direction at the moment, it sort of takes away the risk of getting injured so easily.
So they can stick a needle in it, right, and test the contraction of the muscle and see where it's at, and is that...
We do a test called an EMG. They stick a needle in there and it sends a reading to a computer, and, you know, they can see how much it's getting better.
How frustrating is the timeline kind of shifting continually?
It's frustrating. It's hard to get your head around. It's hard when you're sort of sitting there treading water. You don't really know when you're going to be back. But, you know, like I said before, when you can see the light at the end of the tunnel, it definitely makes things a lot easier.
What's training look like for you?
So I train normally, do all my gym. I can do all my gym, obviously do a lot of shoulder-specific stuff, do all my running on the field. I haven't started any contact yet. It's just something that we don't really want to enter into just yet, just to give my shoulder the biggest chance to recover. It's not to say that I can't do contact, but provided the injury and whereabouts the injury is.
It's rare, right, this injury? Have you spoken to anyone or come across anyone that's done something similar?
For this specific injury, no, I haven't met anyone. To try and speak to someone or get a guideline of, you know, how they went or how they were tracking throughout their recovery phase is hard to do.
The closest I've heard you say is Moses Leota, right? And,
yeah.
And he plays with a big pad on his shoulder there and stuff, but it's, again, different.
Similar, but so different in a way, you know what I mean? Like, apparently he's got it, I don't know, I haven't spoke to him, and if he's had the same as me and he's come back like that, well, then there's hope for me. I hope I come back like that too.
Has anyone ever sat you down at any point and said, you might not play again?
No, no one has done that, but go back pre-surgery, it was a thought that I'd had. And, you know, when you sort of have an injury like this, maybe reality sets in a bit and you kind of do have to think about things that you don't want to think about. So I sort of thought, what if I don't come back from this, you know what I mean? There's always a chance.
I've listened to a lot of interviews you've done, read a lot of things over the past 18 months, and you've always been very defiant. Like, I'm not retiring, I'm playing again.
Yeah, I don't want to die wondering, you know what I mean? If I came back and, you know, hypothetically, if I came back and things didn't work out, at least I can sit there at the end of the day and say, you know what, I went back and tried and it didn't work. But with how I'm training at the moment and how everything's coming along, I can't see myself not playing footy again at all, yeah.
What is the risk? Like, worst case scenario, you play and it goes wrong. What's the worst case thing?
If you want to be blunt about it, you could be in a sling. We play a game and it's got calculated risks. We go on the field in good shape, I suppose, minus a few injuries and niggles here and there. And, you know, sometimes we don't always know how we're going to come off. And, you know, example like this injury here, there's people that have had a lot worse injuries than me. I'm lucky to still be here and still be able to rehab my shoulder, and, you know, I'm going to come back and play again. There's people, as we know, that have played again, gone on the field and come off and never been able to play again.
And the Dolphins as an organisation as well, like they invested in you, they saw something in you. For them to kind of, the amount of work that I imagine they put in to helping you get through this has probably been unreal.
Yeah, definitely. It's been a bit unfortunate. I just came to the club and on their behalf and on my behalf too, I only managed to get 5 games out, and you know, ever since, the Dolphins have been unreal through all the rehab and we've been going through, all the training. Yeah, can't fault them, they've been unreal.
Flegler bringing it back.
When you do come back, do you think it's something that could change the way you play, or you hope it doesn't? Like, mentally, how do you approach that?
I'm not really going to change the way I play. You might have to change a few little things here and there, yes, but the main part of my game I don't think is going to change too much.
Let's talk about your move to the Dolphins.
It's season number 2, as we said, for the Dolphins.
Why did you end up joining when things were going pretty well at the Broncos?
I was coming to a certain point in my career where I was sort of maturing as a footy player, and I sort of wanted to go out and, you know, try get a few more minutes out of my game, I suppose, and sort of evolve.
Fleggy, there's space there, cuz. Take it on, Fleggy. Pop it, Fleg. Shot, brother. Go right, mate. Work hard.
That was going to be very hard to do at Bronx, obviously, having Payne and Paddy there. You know, they're 2 highly rated forwards in the game and representative forwards. So the only way for that to happen was for me to go to another club.
Marshall King, Bromwich, short ball, Tom Flegler.